Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GFN 8. Today we're going to take a look at the fighters scheduled to compete at GFN 8 this Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to see some of their strategies, some of their game plans, how their camps went as far as stamina and conditioning, heading into the big fights tomorrow night. Now we have the NZ Vale Tudo guys from New Zealand making their debut. We have Francis Miles, who's going to kick things off. Francis Miles is a promising prospect. At the lightweight division, we have Charlie Leonardo out of heavyweight. Very powerful guy, great kicks, vicious head kicks. He's going to look to go in there, ring a bell. Not much of a strategy there, throw some high kicks. We also have Ryland Whitaker, who's going to be making his debut against Ambrus Themis. Great striker, he's going to go in there, stand and bang, doesn't have much of a strategy. All of these NZ Vale Tudo guys are promising athletes. Didn't have the best camps. Their conditioning is going to be a bit of a concern. I know they are new to the fight game as far as GCC is concerned, but there's potential there. They're just getting started, and they're trying to figure things out, you know what I mean? But they really need to put a camp together. They need to really get their camps properly assembled. They need to get some high-level training in there. They need to work on their conditioning, their training program. But as far as just raw prospects, raw talent, these guys got the capability of going very far in their respective divisions, and I'm excited to see how their gym expands moving forward. We have Ambrus Themis making his GCC debut at GFN 8. He has quite the expectation to live up to, set forth by his sister, Atara Themis, who had a very dominant performance last time out. Ambrus Themis is an amazing athlete. The man probably had the best camp out of everyone in this cycle. His conditioning, world class. He's in shape. Now, how it's going to translate to the fight, you definitely have to give Ambrus the edge here. Interesting matchup against Ryland Whitaker because their styles are very similar. If you look at the scouting reports, what we expect from both men, they're strikers. They stand and bang. There's no secret to Ambrus' strategy here. He's going to want to keep the fight standing. He wants to pressure Whitaker. He wants to stay inside the pocket, counter at range, and ultimately, devastate him with some hard shot to the body or head, whatever's available, whatever he sees open. He expects Whitaker to be the more aggressive of the two, and he's going to be looking to use his footwork to counter and cut off angles, ultimately trying to lure Whitaker into a big heavy-handed counter strike that would take him out his feet. One thing he made clear is that he doesn't want this fight going to the ground. He thinks there's too many unknowns with Whitaker. He weren't really able to get a good scouting on him to see how well-rounded he was, and there is some concern about his ground game, and so they're banking on keeping the fight standing, and we'll see how this fight goes. Ambrus certainly looks to be the fighter in a much better shape and should have a stamina advantage heading to the fight, and it's going to be a war. Sanoh and Ngam Chit returns to the octagon after suffering a brutal KO by the hands of Renegade Kali. Sanoh trains out of the Lone Wolf MMA gym. She's looking to bounce back after a tough loss. Well-rounded fighter, as always. Had amazing camp. Seems to really have gotten into a groove. Great stamina. Great energy. She's going to come into this fight in great shape. I know she's going to be looking for the clinch. She's going to want to work Eun Sin over in the clinch primarily. She's going to exchange a little bit, try to get in close, and then ultimately clinch the back of her head, tie her up, and just work over Eun Sin with, knees, elbows, dirty boxing, whatever she can get in the clinch. She's going to look to grind this fight out. Like most lone wolf MMA fighters, they seem to have that mentality of just going in there and getting the win. She isn't going to be headhunting or putting that extra pressure on to finish. She sees this going the full distance. She's prepared for a 3-round fight. Eun Sin makes her GCC debut at GFN 8. She represents a new gym, Splatterhouse, sponsored by our friends and partners at We Are Splat. Now, Eun is a great fighter. She's very promising. Her scouting report looks great. Her training regimen was amazing. She had a great camp. Going into the fight, she believes that she can out-wrestle Sanoh. She plans to bully her with her wrestling, take her down to the ground, slam her, and basically just work her over with wrestling, ground strikes, tire her out, and look for a finish, whether that be ground and pound or submission. Whatever is there, she's going to take it. She definitely wants to make a statement. She understands that Sanoh has a great chin, but thinks that she can ultimately wear her down as long as the fight remains on the ground. So we'll see what Eun Sin does on her grand debut here. I know her camp has a lot of high expectations for her. Akane Ito returns to the octagon as she fights in the second round of the Bantamweight tournament. Akane has recently moved from TW Combat Sports over to the Splatterhouse MMA gym. I know Akane is going to be looking to get off to a fast start after her first fight. She felt that, she started slow. She took a lot of damage, got hurt by Rachel Spruce a little bit. She's looking to avoid that. She wants to get right into the action, find her pace, maybe land her jab early on, get into the flow of things. She's going to be looking to really work over her boxing in this fight. She feels that her opponent, Little Miss Dizzy, I think she feels that her striking is lacking, and that's an area to exploit for her. That said, she's not afraid to roll. She will look for slams, takedowns if available, but mainly she wants to keep the fight standing, maybe hurt Dizzy on the feet, and then snatch up a guillotine or some sort of submission, flash submission, catch her off guard. She isn't banking on the submission. She knows how talented her opponent's BJJ skills are, and she's not going to put all her eggs in that basket. So she's just going to try to find something during the course of the fight to exploit, kind of keep an open book, and really adapt as the fight goes along. She had a great camp. She has good stamina coming into the fight. A lot better. She's in a lot better shape than she was coming out of TW Combat Sports in round 1. So she's a dangerous fighter, and I'm excited to see what she's able to do this time around against one of the best BJJ specialists in the division. As for Diz, she knows her strength is her BJJ, and she's gonna live or die by it. She wants to take this fight to the ground. She's looking to slam Ito down, find a way to take the fight down to the ground where she's most comfortable. I think in her mind, there's nobody that is better on the ground as far as her BJJ. And, to be honest, I don't know if that could be disputed at this point. She has one of the quickest submissions, if not the quickest submission in the division, in global combat championships altogether, probably. Might have to check the back trucks for that. She's scary, man. She's scary on the ground. Her training regimen is up to standard at TW Combat Sports. They only expect the best, and she delivers. Great stamina, great shape, ready to go 5 rounds if necessary. Definitely, she looks like she has a slight advantage over Ito there as far as conditioning and stamina. And this is going to be a great fight. I think she knows Ito has great submission defense, but that is going to stop her from trying. She knows that Ito's not going to be easy to finish, but she's up for the task. Her game plan is to overpower, overwhelm, maintain control over Ito, and if the opportunity presents itself, she'll try to lock in a submission, but the overall game plan is to wear her down over time, over the course of 3 rounds. And in the second round of the women's bantamweight tournament, we have Sammie Ward returning to the cage, stepping in against Cynthia Rossi. Now, Sammie Ward had quite a performance last time out, where she stopped Feline Demines in the second round with a string of brutal leg kicks. Sammie Ward, despite being, one of the best strikers in the division, she's going to actually look to take the fight to the ground. She's going to be dinging in on those double legs, trying to get the fight down to the ground, to keep it there, kind of keep control, watch her positioning, land, ground, and pound whenever the opportunity presents itself, and ultimately try to get a finish within 3 rounds by putting Cynthia on her back. Definitely got to give it up to her camp for coming up with this game plan, realizing there's a weakness, realizing they have an area of opportunity to exploit, and Sammie for just getting out of her comfort zone and trying to do something else, trying to maximize her potential. As far as her training camp went, brilliant. She's in great shape, amazing stamina. Definitely going to have a huge stamina advantage over her opponent. Now, Aguero trains out of the TW Combat Sports with Tommy Ward. He spent a lot of time specifically with Tommy Ward, seeing as Ward previously fought JaySon Francis and beat JaySon Francis, and Jay sees the value in his knowledge, picking apart JaySon's weaknesses, points of opportunity. So having someone in his corner that's been there before is definitely going to give him a good advantage going into the fight. Jay wants to keep this fight standing. He feels that although they're both world-class strikers, Jay believes in his boxing will overall outshine JaySon's striking, kickboxing style. He's been working on his ground game, ground defense, takedown defense. I think he predicts that the fight will end up going there at some point. He plans to wear down the praying mantis with several combinations. He's going to utilize his hand speed, punch technique, and looks to ultimately stop the fight. He wants to get the finish. So we'll see if he can do it. JaySon's a tough opponent, but he's going out there to finish the fight within 3 rounds. On the other side of the cage, in the co-main event, it's going to be JaySon Francis. JaySon is a world-class kickboxer with great wrestling skills. On paper, I think you have to probably give the edge to JaySon Francis in this bout just because of his wrestling ability. But I mean, he's looking to mix it up against Jay. He's not afraid to strike with him. He's going to look for a high volume of head kicks. He's a quick head kick. Believes he can catch Jay early on in the fight with it. He's not going to restrict himself just to striking. He's going to look for the takedown. He's going to pursue the takedown heavily. He believes his best shot to beat Jay is by putting him on his back, getting a strong ground position, side mount, crucifix, and just rain down, heavy strikes on Jay and wear him out over the course of 3 rounds. Like Jay, he thinks that he can finish this fight either standing or on the ground. And JaySon feels that he's just a superior fighter all the way around. He doesn't think that there's anything Aguero can do better. I do think you have to give Aguero the edge in the clinch. It's not something that JaySon seems to be concerned about at all. He wants to keep the fight standing. He wants to throw a lot of head kicks, and then when the opportunity presents itself, he's going to look for the takedown and look to land that GMP. So we're in for a great fight. This definitely is going to mix up the division. Whoever wins this fight is definitely in title contention, if not the unnamed #1 contender. You have to look at the rankings and really consider that. So it's going to be one hell of a co-main event, and I'm excited. In the main event, we have Rob Jones, the #1 contender, stepping into the octagon against Sergiy Revenko. Rob Jones is one of the most respected members in TW Combat Sports, best friends with Tommy Ward. Rob Jones has spent a lot of time, training specifically with Paul Rossi for this fight camp. Feels that he has a similar fight style to Sergiy. Now, Rob Jones is an amazing striker, creative striker, likes to throw a lot of spinning kicks, jumping strikes. Thinks that his best strategy going into this fight is to wear Sergiy out. With leg kicks specifically, he's going to look to drill the legs, weaken him, that is stop or prevent, Sergiy from using his boxing to get in on him into the clinch. Rob's going to be looking to avoid the clinch at any cost in this fight. Rob Jones has a great clinch in of itself, but he knows that Sergiy's probably got him beat there. Jay's done a great job, drilling game plans, going over fight strategy, fight tapes. So for this fight, he's going to look to disengage from the clinch and not really spend too much time there. Rob, he's a striker. He wants to keep this fight on the feet. He believes that Sergiy will follow a similar game plan. Rob believes he's going to fulfill a prophecy on Friday night of being the king at 155. Now, I'm sure win, lose, or draw, there'll be plenty of other people, plenty of other fighters in the division who would dispute such claims, but he's looking to finally fulfill his destiny, which would bring the first title to the TW Combat Sports Gym. So there's a lot of pressure riding on the back of Rob Jones heading into this fight. He embraces it and feels that this is his time. Finally, we have the champ, Sergiy Revenko, training out of Highlight FC. And what a run has Revenko been on. I mean, he has one of the nastiest clinches in GCC. I don't think anyone has a comparable record, stoppage rate. He's just amazing from the clinch. Vicious elbows, vicious knees. It's no surprise here he's going to be looking to get Rob Jones in the clinch. He spent a lot of time working on the clinch specifically. He knows that Rob Jones in his own right is great in the clinch. He knows he had to work on his boxing, he had to work on his striking to get in close, to be able to get the plum and work, his strength. He's not afraid to engage with Rob Jones. He feels that he can hold his own on the feet, although ultimately the goal is to get the fight in the clinch. He's not afraid to exchange. He's going to look to fight off the counter, defend strikes, more defensive minded on the feet. But he'll take what he can get. If he can get a jab, if he can get a heavy punch in there, he's going to look for it. He's going to not force anything. He's going to look to more evade and block strikes rather than go onto the offensive, but he'll take whatever he can get at the same time. So Sergiy, like Rob, is not going to be looking to really take the fight to the ground. Both of these guys are looking to stand and bang and trade. And, see who walks out with their hands raised. Sergiy is a 3-0 unbeaten fighter. He hasn't been in a position where he's lost any fights like Rob has. So I think the experience probably will actually go in favor of the challenger here. He's been in the cage. He's been, he fought several times on one night. Rob's a warrior. Rob's been through a lot of things that champions haven't. So Sergiy's got his hands full, but his camp believes in him. He believes in himself, that he's up for the task, and it's going to be one hell of a fight. At GFN 8, very excited for this card for the simple fact that we have so many new fighters. It's not just about the great main event that we have. We have so many new fighters stepping into the octagon for the first time, representing camps. You have the NZ Vale Tudo guys coming in. We have 3 debuts there. We have 2 coming from Splatterhouse. We have, the Themises coming in. So these fighters might be starting on the undercard, but a year from now, who knows where they could be. They could be our champions. They could be our main events. They could be our co-main events. There's a lot of potential for growth here, and we could be looking at, the first page in several other history books to come. So GFN 8, don't miss it. It's going to be live on Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you there. Only exclusively on the We Are Splat Network. Check it out.